Hello and welcome to a special series of BAFTA podcasts. In the weeks leading up to the 2019 Virgin Media British Academy Television Awards and BAFTA Television Craft Awards, I sat down with some of the nominees to chat about their work, nominations and lives in TV. We'll be talking to two of the people behind a show that can only be described as a phenomenon, Killing Eve. I'll be talking to Sally Woodward-Gentle, who was nominated in drama for her work on the show, and one of the show's directors, Harry Bradbeer, who's nominated in director fiction. Killing Eve has snagged 14 nominations this year. Producer Sally Woodward-Gentle has brought Killing Eve, Whitechapel, Tipping the Velvet, the BAFTA-winning Any Human Heart, and The Durrells to television screens. With one win under her belt, Sally's nominated again for Killing Eve in drama series. She talks about why she's drawn to tarty-arty scripts. And she also has the inside word on Series 2. All I can say is knitting needles. Sally, I should probably start with congratulations.
Thank you. It is just amazing.
Killing Eve has, very dark, subversive, and it's funny. It is funny, which I think is why it's kind of resonated with people. And at the heart of it are these quite complex female protagonists.
Yeah.
How important is that, do you think, especially in TV at the moment?
I think it's incredibly important, but we didn't set out to sort of cynically go after that. But Luke Jennings, who wrote the novellas, he created these two characters at the centre of it. But then pairing that up with Phoebe, where she gave everything even more layers and complexity and brought an absurdist humour to it, and yet could be painfully truthful, was really important. It's sort of what we wanted to get from it. Yeah. And actually we learnt that's what we wanted to get from it as we went through the process. So
Sandra Oh is so funny in this. Yeah. I mean, the writing is, it really is hilarious at points, isn't it?
Yeah. Phoebe is hilarious. And she also knows that there is multiple meanings in everything. And so everything feels layered. And so I know that Sandra and Phoebe would have conversations, and Sandra would say, well, what is this about? And Phoebe would go, well, it's about this, and it's about that, and it's about the other, and it's about this as well. And you see Sandra going, working that through, and then it appears.
I was going to ask how involved Phoebe got, actually, in terms of, once the project's off and running.
She does, because she is inspiring, and because it's so idiosyncratically part of her. The actors want to talk to her, just to sort of understand where it came from. And
almost to check and kind of...
Yeah, and also until you've sort of seen that world, or the Killing Eve world, you don't understand that actually things can be played in multiple ways, and that it's not all, deep grief. It's deep grief while at the same time going, fuck, that frock is amazing.
Yeah.
So you can play all of that, and you have to tune into that and sort of feel your way into it.
That's why it's brilliant having Fiona Shaw in her character as well, kind of almost being, I love her so much. I mean, what's she like to work with?
She's just a goddess. She's just she's amazing. She's got a really wicked sense of humour. She's unbelievably professional. She's grounded. She's just the most fantastic talent. And to have her in that, her timing is impeccable. She's very wise. She gets the script. I mean, she's a god.
Did you have any idea of how successful this was going to be? Because, Killing Eve has gone global.
Yeah, I genuinely try not to look. But it is, you literally, our company is tiny, we're 9 people. You then put the team together that makes the show, and you still are a little team. And we sort of felt like we'd fly in under the radar. And that's great, because you're not terrified. You just think, let's just go for it. I think if we'd gone in there knowing what a big global thing, we'd have been paralysed with fear. So you've then got to protect yourself, I think, from that sense that everybody's aware of it, and just concentrate on making it the best you can. Because otherwise there's all this noise saying it represents this, it represents that, it's about this, that and the other, and You can't
I guess you
look
just
at
have
all
to
of
stop
that.
and go, but we're just making a TV
Exactly.
show. For series 1, I suppose you can have that attitude.
Yeah.
When it goes as big as it has, when it comes to making series 2 and then soon series 3, that must be actually a lot more difficult.
You start to feel the pressure, but we started working on season 2 really before season 1 had properly hit. So we were protected for a while. Like, we even managed to film season 2 out on the streets with nobody bothering us until September, when it went out and suddenly people started papping. But you just try. I think you just try to shut out the noise. But I think there is pressure. And Emerald Fennell, who's written most of season 2, has just been completely brilliant. But you know, she embarked on this before season 1 had come out, and you know, she needed to believe that she was brilliant, everybody else is brilliant, that she is completely and utterly owning this second season herself and can do it.
What are you proudest of with Killing Eve and the work that you've done over the past few years?
I think Killing Eve is amazing, just to keep that going, and I'd like to think that we can keep that up.
You've had quite a hit rate, I think it's fair to say, but what sticks out to you? What in a project do you see and sort of think, that is it, I've got to take that on?
It's if it feels a bit different. It's if I would watch it, and I don't actually watch that much. I like sort of, I'm a bit arty, but I'm also a bit tarty. So I like sort of arty, entertaining shows that feel different and are actually quite difficult. I like shows, if somebody says, you can't adapt this, it's a challenge.
Then you want to adapt it.
And I want to adapt it, yeah.
And how important is the script in that process? Would you ever take on a project where you didn't kind of 100% love the script?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I've done it in the past, but I think because I've got my own company now, we do only take on things that we really love, because it's, you know, you're not saving lives, it's not brain surgery, you're not a doctor, but it is quite stressful, and so there's no point in putting yourself through all of that if you don't love the project.
Series 2's round the corner. I know there's someone that will, like, I don't know, taser you to the ground if you tell me anything, but have you got any teaser? Any little nugget we're allowed to know?
Julian Barrett.
Okay.
Watch out for knitting needles. Watch out if you've got a cat.
Okay.
That's about it, really.
That's all you're allowed to say?
Yeah.
Knitting needles,
cats. Knitting needles, cats, lipstick.
Harry Bradbeer is also a previous BAFTA winner, winning for The Cops, and has been at the helm of shows such as Fleabag, The Hour, This Life, and of course, Killing Eve. We chat working with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, his love of Villanelle, and Sleepless in Seattle. Harry, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What was it that drew you to Killing Eve? Was it the script?
It was the script. Well, Phoebe sent me the script, uncertain as to whether I'd like it or not, but she wasn't aware of how much I love thrillers and I love Hitchcock. You know, a cat and mouse chase can be funny, it can be dangerous, terrifying. You can have play with lots of humour and reality in it. And I adored it. I adored the character of Vanilla. I found her to be the most unique assassin that I'd ever met. And it seemed to have inherent in it this DNA of this relationship between her and this woman who was having the most unexciting life. And the idea that there was this love story that was unspoken but very real and growing. You know, it was half Nikita, half James Bond, half Sleepless in Seattle. Two people communicating over a great distance who finally find each other and who in some way meant to be together.
Once it was cast, did that really kind of excite you? Had you worked with them before, Sandra Oh or Jodie Comer or any of them?
Neither of them. I'd admired Sandra for years, and Jodie I always was impressed by her chameleon nature. I love the way...
And this role needs that as well, with how many different characters she almost plays within one. Yeah,
we met a lot of people for Villanelle. We must have seen tapes of well over 100, maybe 150 young women. You needed to have somebody who had real mystery and could hold back their thoughts from the audience. Because if a character gives very little away, the audience then lean forward to study what's going on in their mind.
And I think you do the opposite with Sandra's character.
Yeah.
There's so much warmth there. I wonder if there was a sequence that was particularly challenging, or one that stands out that you're now very proud of.
Probably the first scene. Because
in the cafe?
The first scene in the cafe, because it's a first scene, you've never met this character before, and there are no words. We were shooting in Italy on our very first day, so you had this scene with no words, where we had to create a scene of complete tension and danger and humour and set up the tone of the series that was going to go on and on. And to do that on the first day, I'd say that was a big challenge. I was pretty nervous.
That's so interesting. And to hear as well that you were slightly nervous on the day.
I think I do have a great deal of faith that things will work out, but that also is dependent on a lot of preparation. You've got to think about what the scenes are about, what the people want, what the themes of it are. Get that straight in your head, and gradually the whole work will come into your head in enough focus that you will have a guideline, a map, if you like, in your brain as to how you shoot it. Because everything is a choice. Whether I put the camera there or put the camera there. If I'm exploring your mind, or am I watching it at a bit of distance? Am I shooting it over my shoulder, or am I coming close? If I'm coming close, then that camera wraps itself around your face. It creates a sense of presence. It's very intimate. I'm telling the audience, I'm with her. This is her story. This is her experience. It falls into, and I had noted them all down, 12 beats, 12 exchanges. I was very Stanislavskian, very sort of, very kind of drama school.
Yes.
You know, you look at her, you react in this way, this reaction, that reaction leads to that reaction. Every action has a consequence. Because if you think about it, it's like a shootout between the adult and the child.
Yeah.
She looks at the kid, notices that the kid is eating her ice cream, staring at her. She tries to smile, the child doesn't react. This annoys her. She looks back and sees the child looking at the ice cream seller, who smiles and enlists a beautiful grin from the child. Then you cut to her thinking, with feeling fury that screw you. She doesn't know that she's unable to really relate in the way that she should do. And so then she smiles, gives the kid a big smile, copying his exactly. We went back, actually, did a really strong close-up of that boy in order to do that. And then the kid reacts with a nice smile this time. Satisfied, she gets up, gives a tip to the ice cream seller, goes over and knocks the ice cream into the little girl's lap.
It's such a good moment as well.
And I mean, that's the writing. That's Phoebe's brilliant writing. But in order to make it work, we had to shoot some camera movement that enclosed in on her. Because the other thing that we were trying to establish was that Villanelle is a psychopath who studies the world while we study her.
The detail of your planning there is extraordinary. I presume you can't do every single scene that detailed, or can you?
No, I don't think you'd be wise to. I think there are some scenes that have a certain job to do, like that one, which requires huge planning. But the lovely thing about planning, if you can relax enough about it, is that once you've got your plan A, then you can play around it.
Do you ever watch your work back when it's actually on the telly? Or once you've finished a job, is that kind of, it's done in the edit, I'm going to leave it now? I do watch it back. Partly because the process of cutting is usually very painful for me, and it's very painful for Phoebe. We say that we spend the first 2 weeks taking the episode into the corner of the room and kicking the hell out of it before we then pick it up and then dust it down and tell them that we loved it after all. And Gary, the editor, who is very much a partner in our storytelling, Gary Dolner, he's very patient with us and tries the different things we want to try before we know that probably his first cut was right anyway. But Poor Gary. But yes, it is often a painful process putting things together. So when you can finally see it, it makes you feel pretty good. I mean, you speak about Gary, you actually kind of managed to sneak in something. Was it in the final episode of Fleabag? There was something you put in as a little tribute to him. Yeah, the final episode of the last series of Fleabag,
we had... was at the bus stop and awaiting a bus that never comes. And up on the sign, we gave that destination as Dolner Avenue. So, Gary Donald.
Gary Donald.
And that meant that everybody was in it because all of us were in the second series. In terms of, I had a cameo in episode 4.
Series 2?
Yeah, in series 2, in the funeral. I'm the guy that tells her that grief really agrees with her, but I have a moustache.
That is so funny. Okay.
And Sarah Hammond, producer, doesn't get the prize over Kristen Scott Thomas and says, fuck's sake. So right at the very end, in the final online, we put Gary's name up there so he could be in it too.
That's lovely. And if you were to kind of go back and give yourself advice, what bit of advice would you give yourself? What have you learnt that actually would have been really helpful to know all those years ago?
I think the planning thing, I did plan, but after a while, I started to plan less, and then I got into a jam. So that would be that, definitely that. I think, the thing is, I wish I could have gone back and said, it's going to be all right. It's a long road.
Thanks for joining us, and many thanks to my guests, Sally Woodward-Gentle and Harry Bradbeer. For more like this, go to guru.bafta.org or search for BAFTA on SoundCloud or Apple Podcasts.